Many times on Cultra, we have guests on who have done hard things. These efforts are typically stretched out over many hours and sometimes days, or even weeks. Many of us know the difficulty of keeping the goal of finishing in mind. Today's guest, Amber Constant, takes us on her journey of a lifetime as she attempts to break the world record for amassing the most amount of vertical gain on foot in 1 year. Nearly all of the previous record holders have done this at highly efficient, optimized locations, like Manitou's Incline. Amber is doing this in New England, primarily in the White Mountains. Like us, you might be wondering why. Well, there are so many questions, and Amber does her best to answer them all in this episode. I hope you enjoy hearing about the amazing life story that takes us all over the U.S. and into the mountains of India, all in preparation for her project to climb over 3.6 million feet in the White Mountains of New Hampshire.
From the belly of the Beast Coast, Glastonbury, Connecticut, this is the Cultra Trail Running Podcast. We talk about all the fun shit that happens on the trails that most normal people don't care about. The language we use is fucking explicit and raw like the trails we run on. So don't listen with your kids. No kids. Culture is brought to you by our Patreons and supporters, and we are 112% listener supported, and support is good.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Cultra Trail Running Podcast. I'm your host, Art Byram, and I am joined by a member of the Cultra Crew. I have Josh Guillotine.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here, Josh. How you doing today?
Great.
You feeling rested?
Pretty rested, yeah.
I'm feeling rested too.
Don't tease Amber like that.
I know. I gotta start this shit right away. So, okay. So today, I don't know, in the normal world, I guess. Lots of times, people will call me crazy and they'll call my friends crazy, and then I have friends who I think are crazy, and they're a lot crazier. And one of those friends, and I'm going to call him out, Mark Kelly, who ran the White Mountains 100. At the same time, Amber Constant was doing a double White Mountain 100. She was doing what Mark was doing was fucking nuts. It was 100 miles in the White Mountains. I mean, that's just inconceivable to a lot of people, myself included. And Amber was doing a double. So we have Amber joining us today, and we're gonna be talking about some of the cool shit she's been doing, and most specifically her effort to break the Vert record for most feet climbed in a year on foot. So Amber, welcome to Cultra.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you. So you and I almost met.
Did we?
So you probably sensed me or smelled me at that point. It was during the White Mountain 100. You were when my friend Mark Kelly came through Liberty Springs. He was headed down, and you were already headed back from I guess that's probably Lafayette Campground, I think.
Yeah, it was a hair after.
Yes. So Tom Stardai and I walked down, and I was, as pathetic as it sounds, I was kind of tired. Because and I hung out for a little bit, and then it was dark, and everybody was sitting around without their headlamps on, and I didn't know anybody, and I couldn't even see who the hell was there. But you just had a lot of friends who were at that place, and there was just a lot of energy, but I wasn't able to really connect because it was just dark and whatever. I had to move on to the next place. So I missed you by about 5 minutes, I think.
Oh, darn. I didn't even know who was there. I got there and I saw all of these headlamps, and I'm like, whoa.
Yes.
Who's here?
Who is this angry mob, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, Amber, there's a lot of things to talk about today. And we certainly want to get into the details of of what this vertical challenge is all about. But before we do that, I think it always is helpful to kind of know a little bit more about you and really how you got to where you are today. So I like to go way back because like I feel that the people,
Ooh,
most people in their lives have people that influence them or decisions that they make or just shit that happens that make us who we are, good and bad, so I think that tells us more about the approach to things sometimes in life. So um,
yeah.
I thought maybe we could kind of go back to like your earliest childhood, like maybe like start with where you were born, if you could kind of tell us about that.
Oh, all right. So I was born in New Orleans
Mm,
and I ended up here because I did a bunch of nursing travel contracts and I kind of went all over the United States. I
mm-hmm,
came here briefly to New Hampshire and I fell in love with the mountains. And after doing the 115 and leaving, I was like, man, that was super cool. And going
mm,
out west, I just kept thinking about New Hampshire again. And then when I
yeah.
Hmm.
came back, I was just obsessed. I was like, this is home. Like, this is it.
Gotcha. So in New Orleans, did you have brothers and sisters, or what did your family life look like there?
So it was a little interesting. We did van life, hybrid style until I was 16. My brother's
Mm-hmm.
in a wheelchair. My dad would work from home and was the VP of a frozen food company, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom for my
Okay.
brother. So essentially, we would travel all over the United States and like go follow my dad to where he had business, and then we'd go to school for like half of the time that we were in New Orleans and or we were on a plane somewhere. So it was kind of like this weird mix of like always going somewhere and that. And I just remember when I was younger, because my brother was unable to like get out into the mountains, I
Mm-hmm.
just found it so awesome to like see them. And I wanted to like get out and go run because I was a
Yeah.
runner in New Orleans. And so I was never able to because my brother wasn't able to. And my parents didn't want me to like go alone because obviously my mom had a lot of anxiety with my brother
Mm,
in a wheelchair and always having to go to the hospital with his epilepsy and cerebral palsy. And he's
mm.
3 years older than me. So
Okay.
because of that, I think that kind of made me always want to go somewhere with the mountains because I wasn't able to, and you always want what you don't have. So
Sure.
I think that's kind of where it started. And I've thought about this question a lot, like, why am I like this? And
Mm,
I always watch my dad like run, up to 3,000 miles a year. And he was a spreadsheet guy. And no matter how busy he was, he would get his run in. And then he had a
mm,
heat stroke when he was cutting the grass in New Orleans, like probably around like 35 or I got not 35, like 45. So
mm-hmm.
45. And then after that, he did whatever it took to still get those miles in. He wasn't running anymore, but he was
Mm,
power walking. And this guy would like be on like business phone calls, like, going for 20 hours a day, like with his business and just trying to get those miles in no matter what it took. And I
yeah.
think seeing my dad do that was so inspiring. And he would always tell me, like, you know, do whatever it takes to finish, but don't worry about the time it takes you to finish. Like
Mm.
you can always like do what you want if you put your mind to it. So he just always inspired me in that regard. And he wasn't some super athlete. He was just some amateur that just really liked movement and like getting out. And so
And you were saying 3,000 miles a year?
yeah,
I mean,
he
compared to you, that's like, I mean, that's like a month and a half or something. But like,
hey,
so
I haven't
like
reached that this year yet.
most people like
You're
3,000.
getting pretty
Oh
close.
my
You're getting
God. Yeah. Most
pretty
people
close.
like a 3,000 mile year that's a hell of a year.
Yeah.
Most runners are lucky if they run if they can run the year or run, you know, you know,
Yeah. And
something like that. So that's a decent habit. I'll give them that, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty
just
good.
and my dad's originally from like the boons in Louisiana, but kind of grew up in California briefly.
Mm,
So he's just like this country man that's just always trying to get his miles in. He's always talking about his spreadsheet and
mm.
so it was inspiring to see that. And it was cool.
Gotcha. That's great. Now, was your um was I know your mom it sounds like your mom had her hands full and things like that. Was she athletic as well, or
Oh no, but
no?
she's an artist. And so she was
Oh.
just always, I don't know, knocking down a wall in the house and painting, repainting it. My dad's like, "Why are you doing that? We don't need that." And she's like, "Well, it's fun. Cool. Just designing and like in the house and things like that."
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. Um,
When you were traveling, were there, I know you like seeing the mountains. Do you remember a few specific spots that kind of really sparked um, your kind of desire to get into the mountains? Like, do you remember those places at all, looking back?
Remember, driving through Tahoe and just thinking, wow, this is so cool. And, Northern California, or I remember we went up Highway 1 and we went to Maine, and I thought it was the coolest thing to see a sign
mm.
with, there's a moose crossing. Um, no specifics, just kind of always in awe of the mountains because I came from somewhere that was under sea level. That's essentially a bowl. um
Yeah.
and I just had swamp and gators all the time, so it was just very different from what I was used to, and you just always wanted it, or at least I did.
There's a lot of gators in Maine too, though, right? I mean, Maine's kind of chocked. I think Maine's pretty famous for gators, actually. I have a gator here. Oops. Here he is. And we have him. So it says, I love Maine.
Maine.
I love Maine. So yeah, we're all about the Maine gators. And
I think they're less vicious than the gators of the South, the Maine gators. They typically just stay on the shelf, the Maine gators.
Maine gators, they'll a lot of those were relocated after Katrina. They got relocated up to the north. And
hey, I lost my house in Katrina.
Oh,
that was no. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It was actually weirdly a fun time for when you were a kid and didn't realize all the responsibilities that came around, rebuilding a house and stuff. I mean, for in a kid's point of view, it was actually pretty fun. But because I think I was like 14 at the time. So, but just a fun fact.
Yeah, I started to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna maybe jump around a little bit. I'm curious, I might get in trouble for asking this question out of order, but um, so you were you're working as a traveling nurse. Uh-oh. You got to see a bunch of
We're still in the childhood here, Josh. We're not jumping fucking ahead, okay? So
okay.
Just
all right.
calm your, hit the brakes a little bit here, Josh. Just like
tapping the brakes.
This is Louisiana, okay?
All right.
Fucking all these Yankee guys want to just like, come on, let's go. We're gonna just like take our time here.
I'm gonna get back to that question though.
Okay. Good. So it's hot in Louisiana, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So did that how did that, like, because I tried, I wasn't even that far south, but I think it was like Georgia, and like that about killed me. I went for a run there and it was like I was like into like the heart rate stuff, and I think I was running like a 16-minute mile and trying to stay in zone 2, like it, and then I lost like 5 pounds in like 5 miles, so it's really hot there.
Yeah, it's incredibly hot. And one of the motivations for me wanting to leave, because every summer is so brutal that you're just going from air condition to air condition, and you're not really going out to enjoy anything because it's just so hot.
Yeah.
And it's hot all year long. You have humidity levels that are 85 to 100 all year long. And it gets cold briefly, like 45 degrees, maybe for a couple weeks during Mardi Gras, and that's about it.
So has that shifted your, I know heat adaptation, like on paper, like goes away, right? But you also, there's some things like when we've run in heat or when we've whatever, done hard things, I feel like we kind of are immunized against that. Do you kind of feel that way with heat? Like How do you do with the heat in general?
I I feel like I lost it. I mean, I'm experiencing this heat that's been coming in for the past couple weeks, and
Yeah.
it's exhausting. It's horrible. I feel like I, well, I feel like once I adapt, it's easy to kind of like sit in it, but
Uh-huh.
it's a very hard road once you are in the heat for the first time after being in like I started the year in like, -30 wind chill and being in
Yeah.
Yes.
that every
Oh,
day.
yeah.
And it took a while from like December to January to
Mhm.
adapt to that because I took pretty much the whole month of December to like stay at my house in preparation for this project this year.
Yes.
So it took probably a week to get adapted to like the cold again. But same
Yes.
thing with the heat. It does take me a while to get adapted to the heat, even though I grew up in it and I was in it for years.
Yeah. I mean, it just took you like 85 trips of Liberty, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that was January. I
Yeah.
saw that and I said, so really my first real question for you is what the fucking fuck? I mean,
I think, I think, well, I think a lot of people ask me this. So this all started last year.
yeah.
So I was hurt for like about 3 years. So when I
Hmm.
came back, I started hiking. And when I was hiking, I was essentially trying to achieve this background goal of getting my first million. And it was so
Mm.
intimidating to me at the time. I was like, I was just thinking about it all the time. Like, can I make a
Yeah.
million? Can I make a million? And, I have a house now that's on the western side of 112 next to Musalaki.
Yeah.
So now I'm, like a 25-minute drive from Franconia. And so that just happened to be the one that was next to me. And then I fell in love with it. And the reason I did is because when you go up Liberty Springs, you're completely shielded from all the elements that are
Mm.
happening. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's hard to find a trail where you're getting that steepness, but you're also like shielded from everything going on in the whites because
Yes.
it's crazy.
Yep.
So the only time you actually feel it is when you pop up on Liberty for that, point one or whatever.
Mm.
And I don't know, I felt like it was just such a stable trail to like stay on and train on. And so my love for Liberty started last year. And then I was just like, oh, well, I loved it last year and it had such a great monorail for so long. Why don't
Yes.
I start the year on that? So that's kind of how that bloomed.
Yeah. That was my comeback after I had a shoulder replaced in December. Um, and going to Liberty was that was my first 4,000 that I went back to. So, and it was, and it was wonderful. It was a
Yeah.
nice, I could see the attraction with that because it was very straightforward. It's just like we're going up
Yeah.
and, you know,
You got that right.
yeah. So, um, that, that's, that's good. Now, Josh, you had a question, I think, right?
I have a new question
Okay.
now. Amber,
All
when you were
right.
when you were doing the repeats on Flibberty in January, what were you wearing on your feet? Were you ever
Trail
wearing snowshoes?
never.
Never. Just
So
bike.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So one of the strategies for winter in terms of efficiency is trying to, or at least what I thought, I don't know if it's right, but I figured that you want to use the trail that has the most traffic
Yeah.
Mm.
because if it has the most traffic and you keep getting snow every 2 to 3 days, then it's always going to hold this stable monorail. And
Hmm.
so you're not post holing at all. You're just kind of shuffling on like a little bit of fresh snow every day until it got to like February, and that wasn't the case anymore. But in January, that was. And so I was in trail runners the entire year, except our entire month, except for one day when it was that like super polar vortex day.
Mm.
It
Oh
Okay.
was
yeah.
way too cold, and I
Yeah.
wore
Yeah.
boots that day. So that was
Okay.
the only time.
And spikes though, right? Or
In,
you had yeah.
yeah, in
Okay.
spike.
Okay. Okay. Um
Like crampons or microspikes?
No, just micro spikes. Like,
Microspikes. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. You don't want to die. So,
no.
I mean, I get it. There's certainly a time for that. So, um, huh. And
um
just to kind of connect the dots, because there may be we're throwing around some terms that we all understand, but just for people who are playing at home, like when we say flibberty, we're talking about flume and liberty, and you know, putting all
With
that together.
Liberty coming first and Flume coming second. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Amber, I'm gonna ask a question. Hopefully it's okay. When did you first live in New Hampshire? When did you first move to New Hampshire?
So I first came here for a travel contract at Dartmouth, and that was in 2021. I came, I think it was in March. So I was here at the end of March, I believe. And then I was here until November or something, and I moved to Idaho for another contract. And then I came back. I went to I came back to Maine in January of 2024. And
Mm.
then I lived in Maine for a year, and then I like backpacked in Asia for like 10 months, and then I like mostly
That's
India, and then I went to New Hampshire, and then I bought my house.
Huh.
okay. And when you moved to New Hampshire and you bought this house, were you still working in nursing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now I know you're not working this year. Um,
No, I'm this is not
it-
possible.
well, I mean, you are
She's
working at this,
working. I
you're
mean,
working on this project and it's amazing. In fact, Art, I don't know if you saw it, but Amber threw down a 35-hour day 170, 56 miles, 30,000
30,000.
feet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
That is
just
that is uh
incredible.
that really is.
Yeah.
I had to play catch up. So I don't know if you saw why, but I had black flies. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 weeks ago. I had to take off 3 days because I got 167 black fly bites on Canon.
Hold on, 167?
I counted them because I was like,
I mean, that's
I
pretty specific. I'm just saying, like,
well, you can see all the darts that
oh
they put
yeah.
into your leg. They slice your leg open. But anyway, they were biting me the entire day. And at Canon, it's unbelievable. I have never seen the amount of black flies that
Yeah.
I see at Canon. And all the videos that I have posted, people are like, that is wild. So anyway, that
Mm.
happened. And my leg grew so big that I couldn't even walk anymore. And then I was so concerned for compartment syndrome and emergency surgery where they have to essentially slice open
Slice.
my leg to release the pressure. And my face was huge. My ears were huge. I mean, it was just awful. So they gave me steroids and Benadryl. I slept for 3 days after I went to urgent
Okay.
care.
Yeah.
And then I missed out on 3 days. And then at the beginning of this past week, I had like some 48-hour bug that happened and I had
Mm.
to miss a day. And so that like put me behind on the week. So then I said, you know what? Now I got some fire under my behind. Like I need to
Mm.
get, 30K before the end of the week or I'm going to fall behind once again. And so that's kind of where that came from. Um, but it's better than a Scutney, right? Because I could actually take 20-minute naps. It was a little more enjoyable. I had friends there. So I didn't have to go like sleepless. So
Mm.
that was really nice.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, that's a wild, that's a wild 35 hours being out there and putting that time in and getting that vert is just incredible. The Art and I were talking before you got on. If we're not mistaken, the record is 3,650,000. Does that sound
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's at the Manitou Incline, and that's what I understand is the overall that's posted.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's a man that had done it, and the current women's record is about like 2.4 million.
Hmm.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you're
So
fast approaching that woman's record. I know you're going for the overall record, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because, a lot of people ask me, why aren't you going out west to do this where you
that's a
have
fair
really,
question, right?
yeah. And they're like, where the conditions are stable and, you truly stable. I'm realizing that. But I don't know. It's kind of fun to bring it to New England and shine some light here. I feel like everything happens out west and it's actually more of a challenge. And these are the mountains that I love.
Yeah.
And my house is here, less finances that I have to worry about. So it's cool. It's cool to do here. And my community's here, which makes the project like super sweet.
Mm.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, let's just kind of compare it to like Manitou Incline is basically at Pikes Peak, and
Hmm.
it's what is it? Is it like 0.88 miles and like
Yep.
2,000 feet of climbish?
Super
2,000?
efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an escalator almost. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to climb
A
it, and
broken
that's
escalator,
a
yes.
broken escalator. Well,
Yeah.
actually, so I used to work for an elevator and escalator company, so I know this shit. Those are at 30%. Those
Oh,
are at a 30% incline.
okay.
So I think this goes up to 44% or something like that, right?
I saw on Wikipedia one time, it's like, it ranges from like 44 to 68%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically so. Had you like so? Let's stay on the ladders for a bit.
Yeah.
Had you ever worked out the option of going to like Osseo, um, Osseo Trail and doing those, or
I
I know you have to get there first.
Yeah, the approach is long. It's great. It's just
Hmm,
everything in Franconia I'm realizing, and I didn't realize this at the beginning, just because as the project continues, you're learning how to become more efficient and things
sure.
you didn't realize. Honestly, I thought Flibberty, the approach was actually too long. I should have went somewhere else. But at the time I didn't know that. And
Is
you
it
know, I
really
yeah,
that?
it's like 1.6 or 1.8 to get to where like the really steep part starts.
Oh, okay.
So now you're doing that as an in and out, and I'm carrying like a
Oh, because
35
I'm
pound
sorry,
bag.
you
Yeah.
have to go on the bike path.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And you have the basin cut off. So I was always at the basin to save like a little bit of mileage. And that
Mm,
was always packed out too. But like
yeah.
carrying when you're just pounding out so many miles and your body's feeling weak. I'm talking about the beginning of this when my body was like
Mm,
adjusting and adapting, like carrying a 35-pound bag of water and food and all that emergency
yeah.
winter gear, like all the way in and all the way back. And then you have to drive home on 116 to 112 to your house that's never plowed quite well because they
Yes.
don't they don't plow the western whites like the
No, it's
eastern
not. It's
whites.
like we're out of Lincoln. Fuck it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We're,
exactly.
once you go out there, because it is, I have we have our Cultra has its northern headquarters in at the base of Loon, like in Village of Loon,
Oh,
kind
cool.
of up by the old Osseo Trail. And so there's two ways. You can either take 93 to exit 32, or you can go 91 and then kind of cut across. And you're right, if the weather's at all sketchy, that's that gets a little, that's not the best strategy sometimes.
No. And I remember one time, I think it was like maybe week 3 or week 2, and I had put on, I think it was like Strava or something. I put, man, and the drive was the worst part. And someone's like, the drive was the worst part. I'm like, it's so exhausting to go like 20 miles an hour when you're dying to get to your bed. And then you have to do
Mm,
the same thing in the morning. So
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
gotcha.
If I was looking deep enough, I would know this answer. Did you switch from doing the Flibberty back and forth to going to Black Mountain? Was that what you did next after Flibberty?
So, so for the next month, I think it was Lonesome Lake that
Oh,
I switched
Lonesome
it
Lake.
to.
Okay. Okay.
Oh
You
no,
kept
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry. It was Monto that I switched it for February. So I live in front of a small ski hill.
Yeah.
That's like probably 0.05 mile walk from my house. And it used to be a running ski hill from like 1965 to 1990 until they sold their lift to Wachusett. Um, but then it's like point 0.5 will give you 550. So I just kept doing repeats of that
Oh yeah,
for the whole entire month until I got tired of it. And then
Yeah.
that next month I moved to Lonesome. And then that next month I moved to Black.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And Black was kind of is that um is that some of that southern facing for you? I know it's
Yes, this the south facing because the north
yeah.
facing is like not as steep. And obviously it had a little more snow for
Mm,
longer.
hmm.
And so yeah, that south facing side was really good for a month.
Gotcha, gotcha. Huh. So yeah, because I had looked at, going back to the stairs thing, I was thinking about like, I mean, we all know what it's like to be out on a weekend, right?
Oh yeah.
um, some of these trails, like, you know, going out on a weekend can be very challenging to, I mean, especially, for you, like, because you're probably your patience after a while just, runs out, right? I mean,
Oh, it's something I've never experienced before. It was funny. At one time I was at the physical therapist office and he was telling me, it's almost like your body's swimming in cortisol 24/7. And I was like, yeah, it is. So you have a very
mm,
fine line of when you're like overstimulated or like
mm,
you're overworked. And so you're always trying to like minimize all these external factors to like, actually enjoy the project and the grind.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I've never experienced like this amount of volume and that amount of, I guess, cortisol in my body for this long. So yeah, it's been an
Gotcha.
interesting project.
Gotcha. Um, so how is it like dealing with other people who were on the trail?
Oh, I love it. So
Yeah.
one of the hardest things for me on this project is I always feel like I'm just socially isolated, especially in the winter. There's
Mm,
not as many people out there. And I'm
true.
someone
Yeah.
who's extroverted. Ever since New Orleans, I would go out to the grocery store and just yap to someone, or, you'd see a bunch of people that you knew and you'd go home and you'd feel really good. Well, in
Mm,
New England, well, upper New England, I live in a town of like, 1,000 people. There's not many people around. And then when I go to the trail, there's not many people there. I mean, Liberty had some people, occasionally on the weekends. But when I went to Monteau, I saw probably only the 5 people who came to do laps with me occasionally.
mm,
So it was just really hard to get through the social isolation for
Yeah.
sure.
wow.
Yeah.
Which I'm
Yeah.
still going through at times. Like even though people are coming right now, if anyone knows, I'm in my car at the base of Mansfield. There's a lot of people on Mansfield, but there's no one on the ski hill.
Mm, okay. Okay. So is there like now you have your group of friends. Like I know you have a strong core group. I see like Chase, I
Oh
guess is
yeah.
probably he's like your what I call your BFF,
Yeah,
your
for sure.
your best forest friend,
Yeah.
is what.
He's been with me for 57 days of the project.
Yeah, yeah.
He also has a huge goal for vertical and he's absolutely crushing it. Because right
Mm,
now, Steve Mason in New England has the most vertical, I would say, anyone has put down historically. He put 1.6 million in 1 year, and he did 1 million of that in the Uncanunics in 6 months.
hmm.
So, and
I'm
this
sorry.
was,
So just
yeah,
I have to like so in what area now? Maybe I'm not like
I think
Good.
it's, I think it's like Goffstown.
okay.
Is I don't know if I forgot if it's Concord or Manchester, but
Oh, okay, okay.
Southern New
yeah,
Hampshire.
Southern New
Gotcha. All
Hampshire.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm still kind of finding my way or learning my way around. I'm
me too.
picking up on most of it. So, but so I always want to find out all the details. Um, so how do you like, you know, I know that you've done these, the very difficult, double, the double 100, and then you're like this vert challenge and you you start that. Maybe you could kind of just talk about like how you got to start that and what it felt like to finally get it going.
I so I used to live in Boulder, Colorado briefly,
Hmm.
and I got really influenced by this girl named Laura Kaplan. She currently holds the record for the most vertical on the Manitou incline. She has like, I think she last year she got 498,000 or something in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, Eric Klebs got 506. I was deeply inspired by the vertical community out there. And when I was here in 2021, I connected with a bunch of people who were obsessed with vertical and slides. And
Mm.
so like
Hmm.
I connected with them with that because I always thought vertical was such a cool number compared to miles. And I think that's only because, like I said, I'm from New Orleans. We didn't have the option of vertical unless I was
Yeah.
on the Stairmaster.
It was
But
negative vertical,
it was negative vertical.
right?
And so to me, like it just always seems so cool to like climb. And I think that's where my love came from. And then I was deeply inspired. So in 2020, they started the Manitou Incline Challenge called Vertober from Cirque Series. And that was
Mm.
only because all the races got canceled. Well, now,
Mm.
since then, it's been unbelievably popular and such a massive community out there, which I thought like New England has so much opportunity for vertical. Like you can't recreate in New England without having vertical under your name, like in
Mm.
upper New England. And I just thought it was such a cool challenge that we could like bring here, maybe starting like Vertober. But last year we had like a little challenge with 35 people, which is why I wanted to go for a million. And all of us battled, who would get the most. And I thought it'd be
Yeah.
cool to open it up to like, I think I have 150 people in it. And sadly, you have to be a paid member of Strava. So that gets rid of like 100 other people that would have joined. But it's been fun. It's fun like hearing, people saying like, I've been fighting with, Will Peterson for the last like month, or I've been fighting with Chase Hall or Chris Daly. And
Mm.
it's like it's so cool to see everyone do that. And that's kind of, I wanted all of us to inspire each other to like do this. And I feel like with vertical, like we're always like focused on speed, which speed is cool. Don't get me wrong. It's just like this is, I feel like more inclusive in some way. Like there's a
Sure.
lot of people who
You can
can't
grind it
run
out.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of hikers that are intimidated by speed. And I resonate with the hikers and, the runners. And so I want something to bring everyone together. And also the vertical is a good segue if we were to throw Vertober for the skiers to prepare for ski season because there's nothing
Gotcha.
really going on in October. So this is like a plan that I thought would be super cool to like bring to New England and like just increase the community on that. But
Love it.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's just like me and a few other people, but I just think it's
I
super fun.
people dig vert though. Runner, I think especially once they dip their toes in it. We had a thing here, or in Connecticut, that was vertical madness, like
Ah,
March Madness. And
cool.
you basically everybody signed up and then they took the top 16 people and then 16 played one for you would go a day against one person, and or you would go a certain period of time against one person, and then it was elimination. So and it worked its way up. So that got some. Josh, did you do that, or do you
I
remember?
did not. I did not.
Oh, it was. I'm trying to remember the numbers. I mean, they weren't like constant numbers, but they were impressive nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's cool. I think all those things are great. I think Andrew Drummond's done a lot with bringing just putting some fun shit out there that is
So
not
cool.
a in this day and age of everything's a live stream, everything is 15 camera people and all this other bullshit. His is like, yeah, we're going to have a segment up boot spur, come on up and lay it down and we'll see see who gets it, and throw in a little bit of money to them.
And if it weren't for his challenge, I never would have thrown myself that fast up a mountain and realizing that I would place. I
Mm,
never would have thought that I could do that until he did that. And it was super intimidating at first, but I was like, there's no way I could do that. And then I did it and I was like, wow, I am capable. But like his community that he has created, which I am now part of, is like freaking awesome. And especially like
mm,
these bounties that he's creating to like
yes.
even bring more people in. Like that's so cool.
Mm, yeah, yeah, it is. Now I have to remember, I just read this today, so you'd think I'd remember. Is it 10,000 or was it 30, 100? It was some,
It's a bounty on like 5 premier routes that he's doing. And
yeah.
essentially I think he's putting either 1,000 or 2,000, and if no one gets it in one calendar year or something, I think
Hmm.
it keeps going up with a max of 10,000
Oh, okay.
per
Okay.
each one. Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, that's great. That's
super cool.
um so so you signed up for this and you went out and you started hitting the trails. And how did it, what's it been like to live in your head these days?
Whew. Uh, it's become much better because now I have more sunlight and more friends coming out.
Mm,
Um, uh, it's just, you never get to relax.
mm,
There's no time in my life where I'm like, wow, I can sit down and, just kind of like not think about anything. You're living like a time clock and you're like, I got to do stuff until December 31st. And
mm.
Yeah.
so if
Yeah.
you're like relaxing with people, you're like, oh man, that means I'm going to lose like 2 hours of sleep tonight because now I have to like push harder. Um, I don't know. I guess you're just always thinking about the grind. Um, you're just kind of one track minded, I guess, nowadays.
Yeah.
And you're just always playing this game of like you're doing math in your head constantly. You're juggling all the factors of sleep and social and am I going to miss my friend's wedding now? Am I going to these social events that pop up are you going to have friends that come to the trail? Are you now I have to figure out how I'm going to get ice and go down the street and put it in my ice chest so I can have ham in the morning that's not going to go bad or like you're just constantly
Mm,
thinking about how to be efficient and like how to structure your life to fit that efficiency to make the record.
gotcha. Yeah, I could see how that could easily happen because it's like it's like being chased, right? Or chasing, where
Yeah.
you can sleep, but um it's still something's still coming after you. I can also see, do you feel also that it kind of quiets your mind in the same way? I know sometimes when you get into a world of a long journey, it's like you go to sleep, you wake up, it's time to do the thing. You do it all day, you do it well, you go to sleep, you wake up and you do it again. And you're not dealing with, oh, let me do my taxes or let me, what am I, all these other life things. Do you find that kind of quiets your mind as well? Or,
Kind of. The thing is that there's external factors that keep coming and keep happening, or
mm,
like, I still have to do my taxes.
yeah, that is
I
true.
still have to pay my water bill. The other day I hit a moose. And so I'm like,
As
now I got to bring my car in and like, all these things start building up. So I feel like,
hold, wait. I'm going to hit time out here. We got to fucking hear this, right? So, where were you when you hit the moose?
let me just start with I saw 35 moose back in 2021, and
Hmm.
I was like, wow, they're all over the place. From what I understand now, 60% of the population has diminished since 2020. So
Yeah.
that's why I've only seen one like this year, and it was that.
Oh,
Like
Mm.
I don't see them anymore. So I was leaving Cannon and I was taking like Wells Road to 116. And when I was on 116, there is a moose crossing sign there, but I never pay attention to those anymore because I never see them. And
Yeah.
so, yep, here comes a moose. And the thing is, 116 has no shoulder. The
Yep.
trees are almost to the road and it's windy. So if a
Mm.
moose comes out at 2 in the morning and you're like just finishing up, 13K or 20K, I forgot what I did that day, you're not really paying attention to the moose. So I had to completely like swing my car. I nailed the moose's legs and broke them, unfortunately, with the side of
Oh.
my car. And it's just kind of like, are you joking?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
what
Oh.
else can,
Was
you
it
know,
was it
my
a big
man,
moose or?
yeah, it was a big moose.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And it's kind of like I keep telling myself, like at the end of the day, let me just get my vert because there's just so many things that happen per week that
Yeah.
I'm just like, can I just get my vert? Sometimes it's like the easiest part of the day.
Yeah,
Like,
because like in over the statistically over the course of the year, like there's going to be family issues, there's going to be personal issues, there's going to be health issues. there's going to be an air raid, there's going to be a bear apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like, you've had a couple times on Canon where there's just like, like bears everywhere, or
Oh,
whatever it is, or
yeah.
bugs, um, and all that. So yeah, it's a lot to have that consistency, I bet.
Yeah. And I never really saw bears around here. And all of a sudden on Canon, I see on average
Mm,
8 a day. And most of them have cubs. And you're like, well, darn. Now,
mm,
instead of going all the way up to the tip of Canon and doing 2,000 for your segment, you're now like doing 500 feet for your segment because there's so
mm.
many bears, you don't want to get close to them. And so
Gotcha.
it's been interesting. So like playing around with the construction and the bears on Canon has been a game.
Yes. I almost bumped into you one day on Canon as well. My wife and I, she hadn't been to Artist Bluff, so we went out and did Artist Bluff, and looking out, we were looking at a Canon, which is right there. And
Yeah.
then, I went home and then I said, oh, look at that. Amber was right there, so then I was trying to figure out, oh, maybe I can go bump into her someplace, but I wasn't quite sure, I wasn't always quite sure where you were going to be. So,
Oh, yeah. No, totally show up whenever. I welcome anyone to show up on the trail because like I said, I'm always socially isolated, so I love when people show up.
gotcha. Gotcha. Um, so,
Amber, sorry,
oh,
I'm going to jump in for a second. You are you kind of freestyling right now, being in Vermont, or do you have like a plan to get you through the end of the month? What's going on in the
So
short term?
there's never a plan because my expectations of this project are completely changing all the time, especially with the seasons, you know. So like at the beginning of the project, I told myself, oh, within a 30-mile radius of my house, I have so many options of getting vertical. I'll never have
Yeah.
to leave the White Mountains.
mm,
And what I soon realized was if you want to achieve efficiency, there's actually not many options.
mm,
And so I got to the point, so around my house, and close to you as well, like I live either next to Cannon or I live next to Loon. But other
mm-hmm,
than that, I mean, I think I went to Mount Martha and Owl's Head area, like for a couple days, but like it didn't work out too well. And then I went to, the cog, but then the cog charges you $10 at the bottom all the time. And
mm.
also, if the weather's not good, you don't want to be on Mount Washington,
It's
which
fully,
is,
yeah, you're
yeah,
exposed there, right? I mean,
super exposed.
and then that
And
can get crowded, I would think, too.
yeah. And so what I soon realized, you don't have many options. And I live almost on the Vermont border. So what I told myself was, oh my God, like, why don't I open it up to Vermont? And I was just so adamant about keeping it in the White Mountains. But then I was like, you know what? Like, let me just open it up. And plus, I signed up for a Scutney like in November again. And so I'm like, man, well, I don't want to say, yeah, I got the vertical record in New Hampshire plus 1 day in Vermont. So yeah, so now that I opened it up to Vermont, it's really refreshing. It's really nice. I just came
Mm,
to Mansfield, I think or I opened it up to Vermont like last week and it's been awesome. So
yeah. Oh, good. Good for you. I think like, we can sometimes I find projects that like I put my own restraints on this, and a lot of times it's like, why? Like, what does that
yeah.
really do? And I mean, the idea that you spread it out there, it's not like there are some states that border each other that tend to not get along.
Yeah.
I don't know, like as somebody who's relatively new to the area, I don't feel that way. I mean, about Vermont, like I don't know if Vermonters are looking at New Hampshire people and saying, you know, whatever. They're bad. How do they get along, you think? Like
I think so.
I think so too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Certainly
Well,
in the trail community they do. So,
oh, for sure.
you
Yeah.
know.
So, yeah, it's been cool. And a lot of people have came out and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good. Um so have you like what is it like the other part that I have that seems very difficult to wrap my head around is the long-term commitment to this, like waking up every day and saying, yep, this is still a good idea, and this is what I wanted to do. um, because like, I mean, we all know what it's like to be in the middle of a race and to be just fucking miserable
Yes.
and saying to yourself, God, I wish I would just fall and break my leg
Yeah.
so that I could stop and tell everybody what happened here. Like, I mean, I'd have a good excuse. Nobody could give me shit for it. And it would be like, nope, I was having a great race and then I broke my leg. you know. So like have you had, how has the struggle been? Because there's got to be a struggle with this, right? I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
This is so mental and so incredibly hard. Like on
Mm,
a physical aspect and a mental
Yeah.
aspect, it's so incredibly mental. Like just think of during my ultra marathons of previous to this, like I am experiencing what I used to experience in those ultra marathons. I mean, you either have ebbs and flows in one day. You have a day where the grind starts at 2K. You have a day where the grind starts at maybe 9K.
mm,
You like, I mean, there's just so many factors. You'll have like a day where it's just horrific weather and you have to push through that all day. Like
yes.
the spring was so miserable because compared to last year, we had monorails that were solid like for a very long time.
Yeah.
This year, they completely obliterated with that early thaw that we had in
Yep.
like early March. And actually, one of the worst days that I've had on the project, which there have been like three that I can think of. But like, yeah, it's incredibly hard. And to wake up every day and get out of my car and to do the same thing again and to go the same mountain, it's not easy. It is
Mm,
not easy. And day to day, I can't look at it as a whole year. I
of
gotta,
course.
I look at it per week and sometimes I look at it per day to like cut it up.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
just
Mm,
remember like, looking at my watch on day 4 and thinking like, are you serious? And also like like I said, what I thought about this project has completely changed. Like at the beginning of this, I didn't think it was going to be easy, but like in my head, it seemed easier than what it actually is. It's actually way harder than I expected. And
mm.
I commonly ask myself,
What's hard? What's the hard? I mean, not to be like
yeah,
fucking dopey ass question. What's so hard about running 3 million fucking feet? Like what is like specifically what is the like really let's talk about that. Like what does that feel like?
oh, it's so to do it physically,
Mm-hmm.
your body, like at the beginning of this, my tendons and my muscles were lighting up like a Christmas tree. I
Mm,
thought, there is no way in hell that I'm going to get through this project. Because
mm,
so at first, what I wanted to do is I started at 8,000 a day with like one off day per week.
mm-hmm,
And like, that's what I did for like, I think a solid month. And then I graduated to like increasing slowly. I
mm-hmm.
thought that was kind of like the safest way. So my body hurt so bad. I like, I can't even explain like, but I wasn't sure if it was like permanent damage at some points or
Yeah.
what.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, you know what? Let's just roll with it. Like, let's explore. Let's be my own case study. Because now, if I do this now, I'll know this for next time. But I knew I wasn't going to like put myself out forever. I just knew I was going to be like
Mm,
resting for a really long time.
mm,
So I did that. And it also came along like further into the project when my body adapted more.
mm.
It came along with these phantom pains, like these phantom pains to where I have never felt before, even like during the White Mountain 200. It was almost like you would think something tore completely. And you're like, I just remember I would, call either my partner or my friend and I'd be like, yep, it's over. I like fell. I fell down Liberty and I like fell in a hole or like whatever. And now it's over. But then you realize like, after you freak out and you're neurotic and you're like, the project's over, you realize like you were fine. And,
Mm.
but you don't realize that until a couple hours later. And something that I discussed with my PT about this is that he was saying like with this much volume and stress on the body and inflammation at the time, you have many fascial layers And what we were thinking is that they become incredibly sticky. So when they're
Mm,
rubbing against each other, they start actually creating these adhesions, which is why you
yes.
need a foam roll and like do all this stuff. And we were thinking that it's probably happening at such a fast rate that I was creating adhesions and ripping them like with movement. And it was creating like this intense pain that I was like, oh my God, like, what is that? And as the project progressed, my body has adapted more and more and more. But of course, like there's like certain times where it hurts a lot more. So when you go into the increase weeks for volume,
Mm, hmm.
you're going to go back to that, like, my body's lighting up like a Christmas tree again
Yes.
with inflammation, and I know what to expect now. But now, since I'm adding more time and more time in my feet, let's explore if it's actually breaking my body or am I going through the same thing.
Mm,
What I realized, it was just going through that same inflammatory process. It's almost like this deep pain in your bones. And then as it progressed a little more, when I transitioned, I wore spikes for three months
yeah.
plus. So the transition from spikes, to dry ground, that was incredibly difficult
Huh.
mentally and also like on your body, because now, the spikes create like make your body move in a certain way. Like even
Yes, a
your
consistent stride with spikes going down a hill. You're going to walk basically the same stride more than like with like marbles or
yeah.
rocks or bullshit. So
Yeah.
every stride is going to be a little bit different. You're going to try to go up on your toes here to make sure you don't like, plummet down the mountain or whatever. So,
Yeah, and like I'm just thinking about last year when I transitioned from, the winter to the spring and, getting off the spikes. I don't remember feeling any changes like in between, like, and I still had like a decent amount of volume back then.
mm,
This year, your body is so sensitive to these little changes that you're doing. So, taking off the spikes and now using your intrinsic foot muscles more, and now you're using more of your stability muscles in your ankle, and your glute med is working more because now your hips are like more unstable, like on the
mm,
uneven terrain. I just remember my hip woke me up during the night during that transition phase to dry ground because my glute med was just on fire. It wasn't working the way it was during winter. And
yeah.
so it's wild. But now I've adapted, and now I've been kind of doing like the same amount for a while. I've adapted, but I'm surely still tired. It's kind of like when you have a big volume week, like I'm just comparing to last year, when you have a big volume week and you're doing a lot of stuff, you just feel smashed. That's how I
Mm,
feel 24/7. I just
yes.
feel tired and like I just, did a lot, and I will never feel, I don't, it's just your normal, like you don't remember how it used to feel like not really doing
Yep.
anything.
Yeah.
Um
Adaptation, and you kind of roll into it, right? I mean, now not to compare the two, but like an intense, and I mean, this almost sounds like funny to even fucking say this, but like a marathon training program, like that's right on the edge where you're putting
right.
in the speed work and you're putting in the, whatever it is, you're pushing your body right to the edge where even on your rest days, you're miserable. And the only time you feel good is the day after your rest day when you wake up before your first run. And
Yeah.
then you get back to that level of, just of just of feeling it. So you're kind of riding the edge of what you can do. So that
Right.
Do you, Amber, do you get any relief on those rest days, or as Art said, kind of like the morning after the rest day? Do you feel like you're getting any recovery?
So it's interesting. At the beginning of this, I didn't feel like my recovery rate was fast. But
Yeah.
now, since I've adapted, it's like my recovery time is so fast. If I just get like eat the right things and go to bed at the right time and get enough sleep, like I feel great as like a fresh daisy. But
Hmm.
now I've got to the point where I took out the rest day, and now I can just go every single day and my body's like fine.
hmm.
Are you now just doing every day? I mean, I know
Every
you took some rest days because you had the incident with the flies and everything, but is that
The
the
fly
plan?
the fly incident.
Yeah,
Are,
so
is
now the plan is I'm kind of experimenting a little, just like, I'm doing days where like I skip sleep and do like a longer day. Like sometimes I'll do like 20K. Or
Yeah.
like the other day, I was like, oh, I don't know if my body's going to go through 30K, but I'll sure try.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine too. So it's kind of like a mixed bag of how I'm feeling, what the weather's looking like. Do
Mm.
I have anything coming up that I like need to like take off for a few hours? So it's like I don't really have a plan. It's kind of like I look at every day and kind of say, all right, my body feels like I should do this, and it looks like some bad weather is coming in, so I should probably go all night long. And part of this was the flies, like those black flies are just relentless. And so I
Yeah.
was like, if I
Yeah.
go overnight, I can avoid the intense heat that we've been getting and also the flies. So it's been a little bit of strategy here with that.
And
Okay.
and you can eat the moths.
Yeah.
So
Oh my God. I know. At night, it was such a short period of time. It was like, oh wow, there's nothing at night. This is great. And then all of a sudden, moths and freaking
yes.
mosquitoes and you name it, it's out there. Now the deer flies are out. So I'm like, man, this is wild.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
In your nursing career, what was your specialty?
Neonatal ICU, so the premature babies.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was gonna
Mhm.
ask if your like professional nursing self was saying, Amber, you shouldn't be doing this. But yeah, that's a very distinct specialty. So I guess
She's saying like, you got this, baby.
Yeah.
You know? Oh my gosh.
Now, what is you have volunteer services from the PT you're seeing is that in Lebanon?
Yeah, so he works in Hanover
Oh,
and
Hanover,
in
sorry.
in and
Yeah.
in Lebanon too. So he has two
Okay. Okay.
offices that he
Yeah.
kind of like goes back and forth from. So I was seeing him last year a lot. And so we just formed a really nice relationship. And then he offered this year, he's like, I'd love to sponsor you to get you through this year because I think it's super cool. And I was
Yeah.
like, really? Sponsor me? Like, I'm a nobody. Like, so I felt like really awesome. And we have a bond because we're both like Southern refugees, is what we call it. Like, he's from Texas, I'm from New Orleans, and there's not many of
Okay.
us up here.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's just fun. Like, so he is part of my like core team, is what I call it.
Yeah.
I would not be here, I think, if it weren't for him. Like just giving me all this like data on like, I remember early on, I was asking him for strategy. Like if I'm adapting to like, so when I started doing Flume Liberty, people were asking me, why aren't you just going up Liberty? And I was like, well, that's such a long downhill. My body would freaking kill itself if I tried to like
Yeah.
go up and down Liberty 6 times, which eventually I built up to and I could do it. But he was telling me you should probably start on a short like segment, get your body used to it, and then advance. Because I was telling him, man, I tried to do like, a couple like liberties to catch up to my flibberties, and it obliterated me. And then he was telling me, like, strategically, like, you're putting so much on your eccentric, downhill, like when you're
Yeah.
going down for so long. So eventually
Mm.
I built up to like get these long downhills that I'm doing like all day long. But I remember my body was not capable of doing that in the beginning.
And that was his suggestion to put a little
Mm-hmm.
recovery at the top and go over to Flume and then come back to give yourself a bit of a break before you did the down.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And like, there's just like all these little tips he's always giving me. I'm like, what doesn't cause this and what should I be doing here? He's just a wealth of knowledge because he's just
Mm.
been in the industry for so long that
Hmm.
it's just amazing to be able to pick someone's brain. And if, sometimes something happens or I'll slip and I'm like, Mike, what would happen if like, this happened? He's like my emergency, like, dial, like, hey, I think I'm feeling this. What do you think?
Gotcha. Huh. So what is what is your inner dialogue like? Like as you're out there, like are you kind to yourself or does it vary? Like, I find for myself sometimes I'm just like, come on, you know, like let's fucking go. Come on, let's stop. Come on, you fuck, let's get going here. And other time it's like, okay, you're doing great. But most of the time it's the first one. So
Yeah.
like do you have somebody's like voice in your head? Like your inner voice. Is there somebody like in your, you know, do you know where that comes from? And what voice is that?
Oh, it's such a range. It's
Mm,
I have days where I'm really mean to myself, and then I have days that I'm really nice to myself. And then,
mm,
you know, it's like these little interactions online too. Like somebody will just send me, I'll be having a bad day with the inner dialogue, and someone sends a message to me in my phone, like, you got this, girl, like someone that I may look up to or someone that I think is like
mm-hmm,
just a pro. And to hear that is like really uplifting. And then that all disappears. Or like, someone, if there's like hate circling around, because of course I'm a woman trying to do something big, there's
mm,
always going to be like some insecurities of people with ego that are going to attack me. And especially like sometimes I feel because I'm not a New Englander, I might receive hate because it's just, who's this girl who just came out of nowhere and just doing this big record like on our mountains? Like sometimes that's in my head a lot. Like I sometimes I feel like from all the different places that I've lived all over the United States, New England is truly the hardest to like feel accepted and like welcome to.
mm,
Um, it's like the South like intermingles quite easily. You don't like, there's a lot of easy trust like right when you meet someone, and you don't even have to meet someone, you will invite them to your house or like give them a ride or whatever. Not saying that doesn't exist here, this is just a very general statement. So like I'm always in my head like, oh, maybe they don't like me or like something like that, that I'm doing this record, or
mm,
some of the guys aren't liking that I'm a girl and doing this. And but sometimes that's fuel too. I'm like, I got to show them that girls are capable of like beating the men and like stuff like that. And or then there's stuff like, you should be going faster. Why aren't you going faster? You're wasting so much time like sitting in your car. But to create motivation this long is so incredibly difficult. Like I have to come up with such ways to like just make it each day now. Like it used to be easy, but now it's getting harder and
mm,
harder as it goes. But I'm on the phone a lot with people, and
mm-hmm.
that'll take my mind off stuff, or I'll have music on, or local. I love the local podcasts, and I listen to those. I don't know. It's just such a range of what's going on. Or I'm doing math. I'm like, can I make it tonight? Before dinner, can I, or whatever? Or am I going to have to heat up ramen on the stove by myself with 5 eggs in it?
Mm.
Like, yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Gotcha. Um, yeah, because I always wonder where that comes from, that motivation. Like, now you said do you think some of it's your father, or
Oh,
you like hear
for
his?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Uh-huh.
mean, I just can see him right now saying, get on the Stairmaster for an hour. You can
Hmm.
eat a whole gallon of Bluebell ice cream if you wanted to, or, like something
Now,
like that.
is your father still alive?
He is.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They're,
Okay. Yeah.
hmm
Okay. Very good. Yeah.
yeah. And
Um,
so, yeah, so I think there's people when they say things, they carry a lot of weight. And my
mhm.
parents are super supportive, like
Yeah.
with everything that I've done. They've been incredible in general, like throughout my
Mm,
life. And yeah, I just always think of how inspiring my mom was, like just in anything she sets her mind to, she does it. And she
mm,
she just brings it to like a new level versus like half-assing it. And my dad on the other side, is always about like the athletics and try going, even though he doesn't have the best body to do it, he just does it longer and accomplishes it anyway.
yeah.
um and I think that's really inspiring. You don't have to be like this pro athlete all the time to like be accomplishing things. It's also really cool when it's like you against you and seeing if you can do better than last year. So
Right
um
on. Yeah. That's
yeah.
that's 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 awesome, because there is a big power in just doing it, right? Like so many people will get defeated before they even really start, or right out of the gates, you know.
Hmm.
And you don't know, you don't give yourself the chance for things to get better, because
Yeah.
as we know, in a lot of times with these things, they get progressively worse. And then all of a sudden you think it's going to keep getting worse, and it a lot of times it doesn't, and you have to just go out and see, like, I don't think I'm going to make that cutoff, or I don't think I can go there. But all of a sudden you get the right food in you, and all of a sudden that stiffness goes away, and things can turn around. So,
And I
um,
think towards well, in the beginning of this project, I was really hard on myself. Like, you have to like finish this by this time. And it was quite easy in the beginning,
mm,
easy compared to now. Easy because you would do it because you had so much motivation in the beginning. You were like honeymooning essentially. And
mm,
now you're like, it's fine. You're not a robot. You're doing this for a year. Like, you can sit in your car for 2 hours if you want to.
mm-hmm,
Like, you can do
mm,
that. Um, and I never give in to comparison either because I think comparison is the thief of joy. And I
yeah,
think
right on.
because I was injured for 3 years, that like when I came back, I had a second chance at running again, something that I thought I was going to lose for my
Mm.
entire life.
Tell
So
us
it's
about that. The injury. What was um
so I fell trail running on like slick granite on Chikora and
mhm,
I fractured my hip and I like tore ligaments. I herniated discs. I like did all this stuff to where like I was in a lot of pain for a long time. And I felt like I didn't walk right. I felt like everything was weakened on the side. I started almost getting like a scoliosis from like moving
mm,
my body so much. So I completely stopped like athletics and saw a PT for a really long time and like never thought that I would ever run again, like from that point, which
mm.
running was always my identity. So to lose something that was your
Wow.
identity and your coping mechanism
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it was awful. I think I was pretty depressed to be honest, and I had to like go on a self exploration trip. I traveled a lot. I like went to India. I had to
India. Yeah.
yeah, I had to rediscover myself because I just kept comparing myself at the time. Like, I'm never going to be like what I once was, and, et cetera. Not that I was like some incredible athlete, but I just wasn't what I was that I trained for my entire life. And
Mm,
so, I just rediscovered myself. And then when I came back, it was like me against me.
mm,
But one thing that had happened during the injury, I went to Boulder, Colorado, and went to one of the doctors there. So I either had to get a plate in my SI joint and like be pretty aggressive about fixing like my hip and everything
mm-hmm,
1 year in, or I could go like a conservative route and like do tons of PT for like 2 years and then like um get like these injections that
mm-hmm,
were the PRP injections. So when I did it, he accidentally went through my sciatic nerve. So my leg completely atrophied. It like turned into a noodle. I was numb from like the upper hip down all the way to my foot on my right side. I like didn't walk right. I like was even more depressed. I think I came out
mm,
worse from the injury than I was prior. And then I was like, wow, I'm really never coming back. And when you injure your sciatic nerve, you only have about 2 years to come back. But usually, because your sciatic nerve is so big, they always want you to do like a nerve grafting. But
mm,
unfortunately, like I was like, no, I don't want any more needles near me. I don't want any bad things to happen to me anymore. So I just took the conservative route and really accepted that I was not going to run anymore since then. So then I like completely like just focused on doing yoga and like PT and like just doing everything I could to bring my nerve back. And then I got here. I remember I came back from India and I like went to try to hike again and I realized I could and it like almost brought tears to my eyes to like
mm,
get back to somewhere where I lost for so long. And then after that experience, I went for the 14 peak PEMI
mm-hmm.
FKT like
Yes.
unsupported
Yeah, I
and
saw
I
that.
did it. And I
Yeah.
was like I mean, it's not like super fast or anything, but it was like the fact that I actually finished something like that was insane to me. And
Mm,
so like like I said, like I came back with a different mind because prior to this, if you would have asked me if I would have done a ultra marathon, I would have said, hell no, I like 25 miles and that's it. Usually
mm,
14. But after this experience, it almost rewired my brain and I came back as a different person. And I just want to see what I'm capable of now that I have this second chance of like doing what I can do. But unfortunately, I still to this day like can't use 50% of my leg. Like it's very numb. I'm like if you look at me like running or going up a mountain, you can see my leg dragging almost. And it's a very like intentional movement. It doesn't
mm-hmm,
you have to really think about moving your right leg. But now it's like so normal to me because I've been doing it for so long. But at the beginning, it was such an adjustment.
mm.
But yeah, so it's It's funny. I try harder now than I ever have, even though I'm less, someone would see me as less capable because I can't use like half my right leg.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite a journey there. So, tell me more about India. So, were you studying like where did you live there, and were you um like was that like a yoga based? I heard you mention yoga. Was that any? I didn't know. Like I could see a whole bunch of different scenarios of living in India. Like so,
Uh,
what was that like?
I just, so I'm very like a type B personality. I just kind of show up and, you buy one-way ticket, you show up and you backpack and whatever happens, happens. And my favorite thing about traveling is meeting the locals and getting the local experience, which is
Hmm.
exactly what happened. When I
Yeah.
got there, I met this guy and then we got on motorcycles and we went through the northern Himalayas and, went all the way down to like almost the tip to where like his origins are from. And it was pretty awesome. I met so many incredible people and it was so inspiring. And because of that trip, it really showed me that community is the best thing that you can have, which is what made me come back to New Hampshire, buy a house. And then also, like, it was so inspiring seeing these people climbing mountains for their work. And also, what I saw, people were carrying people on their backs for a living to bring people who weren't able to hike, but this was like their job. And they would do 18,000 vertical feet a day for 3 months of the year because
Hmm.
like that's the season of going to like the upper Himalayas and that's when all the
Sure.
tourists show up. But the fact that these people were doing it, that was also inspiring to me now because I'm like, I saw people doing this like very
Hmm.
high volume in the crazy, like hot conditions. Like it is possible. And to see the Tibetan communities up there also climbing up like no issues every single day for their jobs. Like, yeah, it was super inspiring to be there and such a great trip. But yeah, I just kind of showed up with a one-way ticket and just wanted to explore communities that I wasn't familiar with.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That is that I am speechless from that. That's really an interesting wow. Yeah. I think there's so many lessons in that, to be kind of open to what the day brings, right? I mean, that's like the definition of adventure, right? Like you don't
Yeah.
necessarily know where it's going to go, but you're kind of prepared for whatever it is. So,
Which
um,
backpacking in India is pretty similar to this project. Like
mm,
there were so many, you could plan as much as you want, but in India, it's never going to happen.
yeah, yeah.
There's always going to be some crazy thing like you
What
can't
happened
eat.
to you there that was crazy? Like what?
Oh gosh, I can't even. I'm trying to think. Um, Sorry, my IQ is of a doorknob during this project, so
I
like
you're
I got to go back
you're
to in
doing
time.
fine.
um, I don't know, just like I have a story. So I illegally, maybe I shouldn't be saying this on a podcast, but so I didn't know this.
Allegedly,
Allegedly,
this is a
we were on
story may have happened, may not have
may have happened
happened, but a
in a
friend of
dream.
yours did this.
So we were on motorcycles, like, going up into the area right below K2, which
Hmm.
K2 is in Pakistan, but right on the border, there's like a whole military base. So foreigners are not allowed like 37 kilometers in. And so,
Hmm.
like, I don't know. I like put on a helmet and thought they wouldn't check me and they didn't. And so we just like kept going and I like illegally entered a military base and like saw like, at the base of K2 where you have the Siachen Glacier and it was so incredible. Like even like no not many locals even make it up there and I was just like
Mm.
this is so crazy. The K2 is like right there and it's like a crystal clear sky and like this just wouldn't happen and you know, stuff like that or I don't know just like these crazy hitches like we thought we weren't going to make it to a certain area and we like hitched on some truck or like left the motorcycle somewhere and did something like that. I mean, I don't know, or these homestays like when you're out in the Himalayas there's nothing out there and you're like
Uh-huh.
where am I going to sleep tonight and you're like well I guess this person's going to let me sleep in their house tonight, let's talk to them even though we don't speak the same language. Like there's an understanding of what's going on and like we need a
Mm.
place to stay. And, you try to, they're just so welcoming. And it was the most awesome adventure I had ever done. And
Wow.
each part of India is like a different country. It's not like going to different states in the United States. It's like literally a
Mm.
different language, different food, different ways of
Oh
dressing,
yeah.
different. And I
Because
mean, it's,
a lot of
yeah,
the borders are arbitrary, right? I mean, there's
yeah.
I have an Indian friend who's basically Pakistani, so doesn't it's yeah, it's I don't know. It's a lot of, a lot of times the borders don't even make sense.
No, not at all. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure I have a lot of stories. I just
Mhm.
really can't even like dip into my brain that
No,
deeply at
no,
the moment.
that's cool. That is a great story. That kind of gives, I think that tells that lets me know more about you and who you are and how you approach these things. Because like some people might try to approach this with like super control and like, okay, I gotta like, because there's so many
Yeah,
ways to get things done in the world, right? There's people who
yeah.
are engineers who will approach it like that. Now, if your dad were traveling to India, would he have done it like you did, or the complete opposite? Like,
Oh
would he have had a
no.
spreadsheet? He would have had a
It would
spreadsheet
have
out, or yeah.
spreadsheet. Yeah. And I don't think he would have gone to the areas that I went to or, had trust in,
Mm-hmm.
some random person to like go. But my dad's super friendly. He will talk
Mm-hmm.
to everyone. But I think he would stay more in the touristy areas and like, which is fine too.
Yeah.
But no, my parents would always like call me and like, what are you doing?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
My wife and I, when we travel, always make it a point to go local, to ride. We were in Egypt and took local buses, and same thing with Panama. And try to just you know stay. As we're getting older, I don't know if it's such a good practice all the time, but
Right.
stay away from tourist groups completely and just kind of just go out and talk to people. And you're right, like I remember we showed up at a bus station, um, trying to get on a bus in Egypt, and like trying to figure out, first of all, okay, what bus it is. Then there's this whole crowd of people. Then you got to get your luggage into the bus. Then you got to get onto the bus too. And then you didn't want your luggage to get on the bus, but you not to get on the bus. So there was a guy there, and he just took care of us. He was
That's
just a
awesome.
guy I sat down next to. I sat next to him on the bus, but he like, he handled the whole thing for us. And then he and I, with a pencil, kind of did the thing with the numbers and explaining, like kind of had our own little translation game. And it was, it was a lot of fun to make that connection,
Yeah.
um, with people. And I wouldn't have gotten that with the tour guide. That's, or with the tour,
Yeah.
or anything kind of safe and pre-set up, because it was like, I don't know where we're staying or what we're doing, but what, we're going here and we'll see how it goes. So
And I
you
think
know
you realize too, like when you go to these developing countries, you realize that people who have nothing give you the most and like
mm,
are the happiest. And that was kind of a question I was always trying to answer. Like, why
mm,
are a lot of Americans so unhappy when we have so much? And when you go over there, you realize it is community. It is
mm,
like having a really good community and keeping you
yeah,
happy and sharing and talking. And it was cool to actually like be in it and see it and like actually understand it.
yes, yes, that's cool. And I kind of feel privileged in regards to how the running community is.
Oh,
um
for sure.
the
Yeah.
the areas that I think, I mean, first of all, I think most people that you bump into on the trail, like everybody wants to tell you about everything, and would just like to sit down and talk to you,
Yeah.
forever. And that's pretty cool. And then, also, just, I don't know, just like in Connecticut, it's kind of a very different, I think that's a different community in itself, just because it's a smaller state, and there's probably fewer trail runners there. So we all know each other really well. Like even people who are on the opposite side of the state, like Brian Vanderheiden, right?
Yeah.
I've you know what? I've known him for, I guess, coming up on 10 years now. He has supported, with Steep Endurance, he supported us on a race or an adventure we took, the Cut 112, where we run across the state. Where I'd like to throw you an invitation to come and join us for that sometime
That'd be
if
awesome.
you're up for it. Right now, obviously not this.
Yeah,
It happened a couple weeks ago, but we start at the Massachusetts border, and it's all trails to all trails straight down the middle of the state, and it
Oh, cool.
ends at the Long Island Sound. So it's only 17,000 feet of climb, so you might be,
I don't know if I'll be able to do it.
I don't know. But it's for most people, I would say that it's a very difficult trail. But I think you've seen some shit in your time. So I don't know if you're gonna, it's certainly, I think you're qualified, right? Wouldn't you say so, Josh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Automatic entry for
Oh
sure.
gosh. Yeah.
Hey,
And I want to try to get more women running it this year too. We
That's
just had an
awesome.
episode that we released. The last episode is about a group of women who are training to do that. So if you know other um, strong women who are up for taking on a 100-mile, 112-mile run that's very rugged, but it's not as hard as the White Mountain 100, but it's harder than most. I it's harder than most 100s out there, certainly.
Yeah.
And doing Vermont after this seemed like it was like, what was that even? It was it was whatever. It was different. I shouldn't even have said that. Josh, I'm sorry. Josh just signed up to run Vermont 100. Now I'm like a dick. So,
yes, just knock it down, Art. Go ahead.
sorry, Josh.
Thanks
You'll
a
run
lot, man.
don't worry, Josh. You'll run the Cut 112 some year. It'll be okay.
Someday. Somebody asked me if I wanted to run it next year. You might know who he is.
Oh,
Amber,
okay.
I wanted to ask, in 2024 or in 2025, actually, were you trying to get to a million
I
vertical feet?
was.
Yeah. And you didn't quite get there based off what I'm seeing on your Strava. Is that right?
So I got to 1.2 million last year,
Oh, you
and
did?
yeah, I got to 1.2 million, and I hit a million, I think, in like October.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Your Strava is showing 978,000. So I don't know why it's for 2025.
Oh, probably because
Right.
of the running, like running,
Oh,
snowshoeing,
okay.
or
Sure,
hiking,
sure.
or
Okay. So
That
your
yeah.
makes
your
sense.
cumulative vert was over that. Yeah, maybe this is just showing running.
Which
So
is why this year I put everything as trail run just so everyone can see it if they want to
oh,
like check it out or
it just
whatever.
comes together. Yeah.
Hmm.
So for this year so far, is it correct that you're at 1,600,000 and about 9,000 right now?
Yeah, that's
So
correct.
so you have 2 million. Is that right? That you have 2 million to go to hit the record,
Yeah.
or a little bit over two?
So yeah, and so of course, like in the beginning, I like gradually climbed up, and so
Yeah.
now it's just going to be like a lot for the rest. So
Okay.
that's why it
Mm-hmm.
seems like, oh God, she still has a lot. It's because I like the way I approached it. I wanted to
You're
do it safely for like my muscles and tendons.
a negative split,
Yeah,
right? So
That's great.
right on. Yeah,
negative
Yeah.
split.
Yeah.
that's great. You're
And
gonna.
when you were doing the million two or whatever what the exact amount I'm forgetting now, but last year, um were you working too then last year
I
or
was working full time until like I think uh, end of September, like October.
okay, okay,
Yeah, and then it just kind of worked out. Like when I was looking for jobs, I was like, well, if I'm going to do this project next year, because the thought of this project came after the White Mountain 200.
okay, okay.
So then
So
after
in the
that,
summer, late last summer then, right?
yeah, and
Yeah,
Okay.
so
September.
I
Yeah.
was really hesitant to do a Scutney. I did not want to do a Scutney because my recovery was brutal. Like I had 2.5 months until Ascutney after the White Mountain 200, and I still didn't feel right.
Yeah.
The only reason I ended up doing it, well, one, I was gradually training for to do this year, but
Yeah.
the other thing, everyone influenced me. Oh, it's only going to be 24 hours. So I was
Mm.
like I just didn't have the mental capacity to do anything over 24 hours like after doing the White Mountain 200, because it your first 200, like it takes like a long time to come back from that.
Yeah.
Huh. What is it? Um, so is that based on muscle fatigue, or is it based on sleep deprivation, or all the above?
It's got to be all the above. I started talking, like, I reached out to Will Peterson and I like talked to some other people, but I just remember him saying, I asked him, I was like, hey, did you experience this too? And he was like, yeah. And the statistic is like for every 6 miles of technical terrain, that's like 1 day of rest that you need. Obviously, I surpassed that. Um, but I don't know. I felt like really fatigued. But what Will was telling me is the more you do them, the easier the recovery is. And that's kind of what I'm seeing
I
like throughout
agree.
this project. And like one thing that I wanted to discover after for this project is there's something like, I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like people who do like AT through hikes or PCT or any of that, you expose your body to a stimulus, something that you're like, I feel like you're more resistant to fatigue if you do something like every single day, like for 3 months. I'm not saying like someone who like dilly dallied and like took a lot of time off. I'm saying like someone who actually like, kind of like hit the ground running and like went through it in like 3 months or so. Like there's something about those athletes that I wanted to discover for myself, because the longest thing I'd ever done is 4 days. And so
Mm.
like this whole thing has been, I did my first 100 at the end of 2024 for Rutfest. So ever since then, I've just raised the bar a little higher, like each time I do something. And so like, it's just, I don't know. I want to find out for myself if this actually works too, because why every time you do a 200, your body recovers easier after that, even
Yeah,
though there's time in between.
I know that's true for 100s, because I think the first, and actually, you know what? I think that's true for marathons too. I mean, I remember after my first marathon, I was like devastated for a week. Like I don't think I walked until like Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday, maybe I don't know. Like and then after that I kind of got into the habit of like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to run like the next day, or at least like get on a bike or something, or go for a walk. And you know and then 100's the same thing. Like after my first 100, it was devastating. For I felt like it took me a long time to recover from that. And then after that I got to the point where, oh, I can run after that. And like you said, lots of through hikers start out, and that it's that first 2 weeks that kills them. And if
Right.
they can get through that, then they can start to build on it and active recovery, and work their way through. It's really weird, because there's so much out there that will tell you, oh, you gotta, rest and rest and rest. And sometimes that's not the answer.
Yeah.
So and I guess you're feeling strong right now, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Mm.
it came to a point where I like, if I wanted to, I could start like, I wouldn't say like running, but I could definitely like move faster than like a power hike if I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to. I'm a little scared to do it just because like, once you go maybe too far into maybe a potential injury, you
Yeah,
can't
Yeah.
really go
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm fine with what I'm doing. I like the power hiking. I like sticking at this zone 1, zone 2 base, and it's fine. But I do feel stronger just because I've adapted, and like I said, I don't require a rest day anymore. So
mm,
yeah.
that's awesome. That's really cool. So uh like, I guess, like, the further you go along, do you get nervous, or you don't think about that? Like, like, oh, like I'm this far in, or anything like that. I mean, it's still far
I
enough away, right? That
you want you want to know what's funny? I like never look at the total. I
mm,
always look at, I mean, I guess people remind me of it all the time, but I always look at the weekly, and like
good.
just because it's better for me. to
Of
like
course.
not think of like the full year. I know where I'm at just looking, like I know what the totals were like,
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. So I know if I don't reach, I've done so much math, I know exactly what I need, or if I lower it, I know what I need the next week. And so yeah, I don't know. I just focus on the now. I cannot focus past a week or I would literally crumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with the 5K. Like if you stand at a 5K at the starting line of a 5K and say, I'm going to run 3 miles and my first one's going to be whatever, name your pace, like whatever, 6 minutes, 7, 8, whatever minute seems really fast to you.
Yeah.
Incomprehensible. You finish the first one and you're like, oh shit. And then how am
I
I
don't know.
possibly
I
going to
don't
run
know,
two more?
Art. I don't know.
No. Okay. So
Come
it's
on.
basically like a 5K that you're doing here, Amber. So
It's a 5K.
is that what we're doing? See, Josh, this is our new spirit. We're like,
Just
I
to
don't know.
compare everything to a
Oh my
5K. Yeah.
God. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
bad, huh?
It's
I've,
not
I've
as
lost
it's
my
not much
edge.
harder than a 5K.
It's not. I mean, 5Ks suck, right? I mean, we could all agree on that, right? Racing a 5K
Oh
sucks.
gosh, yeah, that
Yeah.
zone
So
4 pushing into zone 5
that's
potentially.
right. Yeah.
So it's awful.
Oh my God.
So Amber, what's on for today? Are you going back out tonight?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I did like 5,000 already, and then I'll
Hmm.
like actually I ran into a lot of tourists today, which is not usually the case, and some
Mm,
from the south. So we had a lot of engaging conversations that I enjoyed. So
Okay.
I wasted some time today, but really it's like it's good for me. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'll probably be out all night until I get maybe like 13K for the day, like the
mm.
total,
Okay.
or maybe more, depends on the weather. I need to look at the weather again. It's been really like it
Yeah, it
hasn't
hasn't been
been,
great, right?
yeah,
It's
it's been
drying
a
up,
lot
I
of
thought.
rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was told like like some heat is coming in again, so I would really like to probably go through the night tonight.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Um, I have a just it's this going to be like a weird question, but what is the vert like if you just look at the amount of vert you get, is the cog, let's forget about all the other things, but is that a good trail? Like if you forget about how far it is or the cost to park or anything like that, is that a good trail?
Yeah, I think it's a good trail. I mean,
Okay.
there's certainly
mm,
more efficient ones, but
Yeah.
it's a good trail. What I personally don't like about the cog is how loose it is around Jacob's Ladder.
Hmm.
And like I said, the exposure. But yeah, it's a good trail.
Okay.
and if you wanted to try old Osseo, I can give you some dank beta on that.
Maybe we
So
could go together.
yeah, that would be great. That would be great. As long as
It
you like
starts out it starts out pretty gradual. I don't know,
it
Art. That
does. The
that approach,
that
you
is
know.
once you said that is that yeah, if Liberty is a tough approach. I mean, yeah, it starts out you probably have a mile in at least that's pretty flat. I can
And then it
send you
gets
the
pretty
elevation.
darn steep though
It
later on.
is.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you did some repeats on that, you could you could do some serious damage there. And especially if you're looking for a day that you don't want to be out in direct sunlight and you don't want like too many tourists. Although with Lincoln Woods being closed, I think there's already an uptick in traffic. I've heard more chatter about it than I ever
Interesting.
have before. So it could
Yeah.
be a good. I would put this in a good weekend option. Like it's
Yeah.
going to be. You have a long approach, but it's soft too. That's the other thing. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
like
Yeah.
typical rock.
it's not, yeah, it's not eroded. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
like mossy, and you kind of step, especially towards the top, you step on it and you can just sense the membrane of like the network of roots and moss and earth that's sitting above the rock. It's like a life of its own, there.
I,
So
I have an odd question. Are is there a rule that you've set for yourself, um or some external rule? I don't know if the Guinness Book of World Records has gotten back to you on any of this, or there's some set rules for doing the vert challenge that you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, if there was, say, like a good trail, but it was a mile in, can somebody pack stuff in for you? Or does it have,
Yes.
oh, somebody
Yeah,
can
because
pack stuff in for you. Okay.
I'm doing this supported. So, there's days that either like Joe or Chase come with me and they're like, "Hey, let me carry your bag for you so you don't have all that
Yeah.
extra weight on your joints," which it
Okay.
Hmm.
does
Okay.
add up when you're
Yeah.
bringing in a backpack.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's totally fine because I couldn't imagine doing this unsupported.
Yeah. Yeah. So is the record at the Manitou Incline, is
Mhm.
that a supported or unsupported record,
It's
or
supported,
it's
yeah.
supported as well? Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think to look for this, but is there an unsupported record?
I don't think so. I think if it's
Okay.
unsupported, it's probably like a 48 hour or something. There's absolutely no way someone could do this unsupported.
Okay.
Maybe there is, but
Well,
like you have to
or
get food from the
or
store.
or self-supported.
Oh, I
You
see
could
what you're
just
saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
unsupported, you couldn't because you would have
Okay.
to carry a
Impossible.
year's
Okay.
worth of calories
Unless
with you.
unless you want to fish.
I mean,
Like,
yes, yes.
hunt
I
bear.
You could fish.
hunt
Well,
bear or moose,
the
you
Pemmy
know.
Bear is right there. The Pemmy Bear is right in Old Osseo these days. Or I mean, the new Pemmy Bear.
Oh,
Yeah.
is there a new Pemmy
Yeah,
bear?
they killed the old Pemmy. The old Pemmy Bear got taken out
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah.
So,
And then he got
but
replaced by the new one.
well, we've had some at Village of Loon has already had some. We've already gotten a notice saying that somebody bumped into a bear at the garbage, at the
Oh
dumpsters.
no.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're
Well,
there, and
yeah.
you know,
Well, if you need someone to pack anything in for you and the regular crew can't do it, I'm volunteering Art to help
absolutely,
you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm glad that you said that, Josh, because I thought you were also going to offer up the cog road. Are we going to work on that offline?
Yes, we're gonna work
Okay,
on that offline.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
So there may be some hope there.
Yeah.
um,
Hey, I
I
eat a
know.
lot. It's gonna be heavy.
that's right. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I listen. We just went to Manitou's Revenge in the Catskills, which
Oh,
was
I
a
saw that. You were
yeah,
volunteering, I think.
yeah. A bunch of us went up there. Maybe you met Amy Jennifer Hanlon at some spot. She said, "Oh, you did the what's it called? MMD, right?"
Oh yeah.
I think
Uh-huh.
she said that she met you there. So I told
Jennifer
her that I would be
Hanlon.
talking to you. So,
Oh, okay.
so, but yeah, so that one was just 1.6 miles in, and we had to carry all the water and all that stuff up the mountain. I guess like the crews do that all like every
All
day. That's
day.
like
Yeah.
their fucking life.
Yeah.
And like we do it once and we're like, but it was fun and it was an all-nighter and and pretty impressive race too. So
Oh
um
yeah. I love volunteering. It's so fun. It's just as fun to be on the volunteer side as racing it.
yes, yes. We say crewing and pacing is better than racing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I gotta ask you, and Josh kind of touched on it, but like there are rules, I guess. Like, what can't you do? Like, what aren't you allowed to do?
I can't do traverses. So like no traverses are allowed because essentially if you do a traverse, you're not going down the same mountain. So you're not getting so whatever you go up, you have to go down.
Oh,
So
Interesting.
because at that point, why can't you go from one point to another and never really go down? You know what I
correct.
mean?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
like no Prezi traverses for me unless I make it in and out, which that would be crazy. Or like, no traverses. So you're essentially always just going up and down the same thing to the
Oh,
same
Okay.
so you
trailhead.
can't even do a loop, right? Is that, or can you do a loop or?
You can do a loop if you're like going to the same trailhead
Okay. Gotcha.
on the
Gotcha.
same mountain. But if
Yeah.
you can't like it's really complicated because essentially they're trying to get out someone that would take the chairlift down.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that, like,
Okay.
obviously, I assume that you couldn't do that, right? You
No,
can't
I
take the,
wish I could. I could do it
yeah.
forever then.
What's harder, the ups or the downs?
So the downs are much harder. You can go uphill all day, but the muscle degradation that you're going to get is from the
Yeah.
downhills.
That eccentric loading just
Hmm.
bam
Oh
fires you up.
yeah, like like sometimes I'm like, man, this power up feels good. And then you hit the down, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like you would have, yeah.
And do you one of the things that I'm sure that everybody notices, like anybody who has a watch, like Josh and I go for a run together, and like his vert will be different than mine. So do you have to hit like do you have to like hit normalize or something for your distance where it
Great question.
averages it? Or how does that how what are the rules for that, and what are the accepted measurements?
So there are no rules. I actually reached out to Jack Wenzel about like vert validity and like what he thought. And I reached out to other people too, because I just think this is so important. At the beginning, I realized that we call it like Koros vert doping because Koros and Sunto always, when they people
Yes.
come with me, always have 5% more vert. And so
Yeah.
like 5% over a whole year, that's a lot. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, and this
Yeah.
was also a thing that was brought up during the Manitou Incline challenge that they had because people were like, oh, you're cheating or like whatever. So I currently have like what is said the best is the Phoenix with
Hmm.
Garmin.
Yes.
And I set it to multiband. So this
Uh-huh.
watch essentially lasts like 3 days.
Hmm.
But when you set it to the like the 68 satellites, it it's I think it usually dies within like 20 to 22 hours. So something I always have to be mindful of is like connecting my watch. And you always have to make sure that you calibrate it and like clean the little like vertical like barometer hole that it has like with alcohol. And you
Oh,
also have to like, there's a lot of things. You also, you know how it always like calibrates at the beginning, like you're waiting for the GPS to like reach
yes.
you. You always want to make sure that turns green because if you're not, then your
Oh, yeah,
watch might
yeah.
not start at the same place or
Yeah.
Right.
whatever.
You're gonna lose. Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah,
and if you stop, like, if you stop someplace, your watch will go bing and kind of ping all around you, right?
yeah.
So,
Um, and like, so I noticed I noticed this last year, like if I were to set it like on energy saving, I noticed that my vert would kind of be all over the place, especially if you're on Mount
mm,
Washington and the wind's like going like crazy. But if
yeah.
you set it to the actual, like, you're using all the satellites and it's called multiband,
Hmm.
um, it is just so on target.
But they don't have there's not a set. So
No.
is,
So
wow.
essentially,
Huh.
because all these vertical challenges are done on the Manitou Incline, like I would have to set the precedent for like the next person to do it and the next person to do it because this is just such a new thing. It's kind of like, at the beginning of FKT and people were doing the Diratissima. People were like, well, what's really unsupported and what's supported, like, or
Yes.
self-supported. I think it's becoming this new thing. I just saw, this Mount to Coast athlete doing hill repeats for 48 hours for the world record. And so like vertical is becoming like a thing now. And
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
there has to be like a precedent that is set. But I was told by some of my Koros friends, which I have to do laps with them to see if we match up. But they were saying that they recently had an update. So now it's probably only 2% more than Garmin.
Yeah. Like one, I mean, it's almost like I would hate to like even introduce another variable to this, because like if my solution all of a sudden takes away vert, I would feel like, I would feel horrible. But I thought that there was a feature in Strava that allows you, because when we had our vertical challenge, um, you can, I think you can hit like normal. There's a function that you can hit
Normalize.
normalize, and then that will take the average of all of the barometric altimeters that were used on that course. And then it will also, you can normalize your route where it will put you in the middle of the course that other people have most taken in that area.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
but I always found that it always like, it always knocked off it always knocked off a little bit of vert from me. So,
So someone was telling me that if you do that and you had a day where you did like point ones, like it'll completely erase all the vertical you had done because
Oh,
mm,
the
yeah.
points, it's not like really good
oh, I
with
see.
short segments. And there
Yeah.
have
Gotcha.
been some days that I did point ones. But what
Yeah.
I can say from like the 60 people who have came out or whatever, how many people have came out since the beginning, like
Yeah.
I will say I'm always the lowest out of everyone. And it's
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
me having to do 2 extra laps to like catch up with everyone.
Oh,
Like,
gotcha.
yeah, it's kind of frustrating,
Yeah, that's
but
it's always so funny
Well,
because usually, like, I always laugh at people who are like, "Oh, how many miles you get?" and like, "Oh, this," and I'm like, I don't really care, you know. I mean, who, you know, like
yeah.
I love to bring my mileage up to 0.99 and not get the extra one just to show that I can do that, you know. And but it's like I don't know, but it is such an arbitrary thing. But especially where we are, though, the vert is very difficult, very different than a lot of the Western mountains are too. Because even though we do
Yeah.
have climbs here, the Western climbs are, I think they're long. You know, it seemed like I know they're certainly longer than Connecticut. You know, and I know they're,
Yeah.
you know, not as technical as the whites, but for the most part,
Oh no.
well,
yeah.
do we just need to get you a Coros watch? I mean, I'm kind of wondering.
Yeah, come on, Patreons, kick it in. We gotta get
Yeah.
Amber a Koros here.
Give her some extrovert, you know?
I know it's
Um,
so funny at the beginning of the Vert challenge, everyone was like, Koro's Vert doping. And so like that just became like a tagline that we would always say.
Yeah, yeah.
But you
Well,
know,
I love the fact that like that's your approach though. Like, because you could very easily go to the most efficient mountain in the world, you know, the most efficient known place, you know, Manitou's. And then you could also go with the Koros and you could do all that stuff. But you're like, you know what? No, I'm doing that here. It's technical. The weather is a lot worse.
yeah,
And we got flies, so bite me.
I
I
know.
mean, so
It even came to the point where there was a fire on my trail and I had to call the fire department to come out to put it out. And they had like
oh
four regions. And I was like, what else can possibly happen to me on
yeah.
this? Like from hitting a moose to a fire on my trail to almost getting emergency surgery. What else?
where
Oh
was the fire? Where was
It
that?
was on a Black Mountain and it happened
Okay.
like on the carrion section, not where I was doing repeats, but more of like
mm,
the grassy area.
Oh,
So I was like, wow, this is interesting and a first.
jeez.
it's
Oh
an incredible thing that you're doing, and it's amazing. It's just amazing to look at what you've done and to see it on Strava, and it's kind of hard to wrap your head around because
it really is.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And
Amber.
just
Oh, I'm
I
sorry. Go
was just
ahead,
going to
Josh.
say that, and to see what you did last year and then compared to this year, that's incredible too. What you did last year alone, and then what you're doing this year too. It's just hats off to you. Just like wow, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
thanks. I'm
Mm,
really giving it my all. Like I'm
yeah.
just trying really hard.
gotcha. Well, if there's anything that you need, let us know. And I don't know. I'm not there all the time. I'm in Loon probably a week a month or so, maybe 2 weeks a month if I'm lucky. Probably closer to a week a month it seems lately. So, um, yeah, let me know and be more than happy to help. Or,
Well,
we know
thank
people
you.
too. I'll have Josh run up there.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully now all of the mountains that I'm doing, I keep everything in my car now. So
Yeah.
it's been nice. But
Or
the only problem about Vermont though is now I'm sleeping in my car and getting like terrible recovery when I have a house in New Hampshire. So it's been
mm,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that's
had
right.
to take the rust off of being a dirt bag.
yeah, like if you need any camping equipment, let me know what that might look like too. Cause I was whatever I have. If you need camping equipment, I have it.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
you're welcome. I have like multiple versions of stuff. So, um,
Awesome.
well, Amber, and I have to say that like ever since I heard that you were doing the double, I was like right then I was like, oh my God, just for that, like I gotta talk to this person and find out what she's about. So I've been like kind of a fanboy ever since then. And and then especially I know that you were in contact with Brian Vanderheiden, and then I was like, okay, this is it. Like I got to get this because even Josh and I have been talking about, and Anna G, who's also on our show. She's the three of us have been talking about you for a long time, so your ears have probably been ringing. So not in a creepy way, except for what Anna said. But no, I'm sorry, not just sorry,
She's
Anna.
not here, so
I
yeah, it
know.
was her.
Yes.
And I also just want to say, like, I think it's really important for especially like the women listening to this is, I came from nothing. I didn't train for 3 years. And like, kind of, when you try really hard and you're motivated, you can see what you're capable of. And like, I think more women need to come up here and do these long efforts. And it's just completely skewed with like 85% men. And to see more women up here would be awesome. And, I didn't think I was capable and I'm just trying really hard and look where I am now. I never would have thought I would be here like just 2 years, even just last year. So, yeah.
Bravo. Yeah,
Yeah, bro.
I agreed. I couldn't, I hear that and I always struggle to try to figure out what I can do to help, help women feel, like are like they can do whatever they want. And, like as far as especially like getting people to come to the race. And besides saying like, hey, come on to the race, it's
Yeah.
like it's hard to figure it out after that. But we do have a training group now so that like, people can kind of talk about any issues that they have with it and get inspiration, but watching the example that you're certainly setting, it's just like, yeah, it strikes what you do just strikes fear and into the hearts of
Fear.
many. Not fear, but like I think I also have to say though, I love what you said about like right from the onset you talked about not comparing yourself to other people too. And I think that is so because it is so easy to just like to see what you're doing and to see what there's other there's many other gosh, now I'm forgetting her name. um Gosh, she does a lot of White Mountain hikes and runs and stuff. Who am I thinking about? I think she has like blonde hair and um I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put it in the show notes, whoever what her name is. But there's just a lot of people in the whites and bitches on ridges, and other, there's a lot of people out there. So I'm glad to see that you are and brought that up as far as supporting women in those efforts. So
Oh, yeah,
um,
definitely.
if we can help you anyway, we're looking to do that. So
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's
excellent.
incredible.
Yeah, Amber, and it
Hey,
was really great to get to know you and kind of find out where you came from and kind of what's behind it all. So we'll be cheering you from the sidelines, and hopefully I'll come out and I'll track you down in the next. I'll be away for a couple of weeks, but after that, hopefully get out to you know see if I can carry in some supplies for you or something.
Yeah, come do a
So,
lap.
very good.
The flies will be gone.
Okay, all right, there you
hey,
go.
there we go.
Very good.
Hey,
Well,
one last question. The
yes.
Vert group you mentioned on Strava,
Yeah.
how do you find that?
I can invite you. Anyone can invite you. All you have to do, or the only requirement is that you have to pay for Strava.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wish that weren't the case, but I can send you an invite and art.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
great.
I'm a paid subscriber, so I would be on there, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. I'll invite you in.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, thanks again, Amber. And oh, Amber, if people wanted to follow you on Instagram, I can put links to all that. I know that's like one of the primary things you do. What is your Instagram handle, or what do we call it there?
It's my handle from like, 20 years ago or whatever, but it's constant, my last name and
Mhm.
0413. And I'm also climbing for cerebral palsy, which was inspired by my brother. I found that UPC or United Cerebral Palsy um, gives like the most direct funding towards people living with this disability. And I was trying to think of what I could donate towards. And if anyone's listening to this and you have extra funds this year, like totally bring it into the GoFundMe. That'd be awesome.
Very good. Yeah, and I will. I'll put a link to that in our show notes as well. So if to make that easy for folks. So
Awesome.
Amber, thanks again. And to all of our listeners out there, thank you for listening. Thanks to our Patreons. As you guys know, we are 112% listener supported. So thank you for that. If you've made it this far, of course, seek professional help. And we will see you all in a mile.
A mile and a half.
All right.
Tuning in. Remember, Cultra is 100% listener supported through Patreon. No ads, no sponsors, so you'll never hear us trying to sell you a subscription to Canadian Trail, Fishing Magazine, Visiting Rash Cream, or anything like that.